Ryan McFadden just completed his first season covering the Broncos for the Denver Post. Used to work for the Ravens covering the Baltimore Sun, so you had stability with the Ravens, great organization, and then you go to Denver, and what a great year they gave you, Ryan. How have you survived?
It's been pretty crazy, but I'll say this: Sean Payton has kept us all busy.
All right, help me understand. How big a surprise was this that Russ was going to be released?
I would say this: it was a bit of a surprise, especially how it happened. Because after the New England game, they were even though like their playoff odds went down drastically after the loss to the Patriots, they were still mathematically in it. So making that type of move for a quarterback who was having a modest season in the midst of trying to clinch a playoff berth was kind of surprising. But if you as the season progressed, like you can tell like Sean Payton and Russell Wilson kind of never like it never gelled. And I think when you look at even though Russ had statistically had better numbers compared to the year before under Nathaniel Hackett, but Payton had issues in terms of like had to trim down the offense to help Russ, getting in and out the huddle. The goal to go execution wasn't up to Peyton's standards. So at the end of the day, I think it looks like this move is more of I think Denver knows that they're going to take a huge cap hit doing this, but it's more of Peyton saying, this is not going to be my guy for the foreseeable future. So let's just go our separate ways right now. Avoid paying him the guaranteed money of $37 million in 2025. And let's see if I can find my guy that I want to bring in. Because remember, Russell Wilson wasn't Sean Payton's guy. Sean Payton walked into Denver with Russell Wilson as the quarterback. Now, Sean Payton can go out there and find his guy. So at this point where I think Russell Wilson can still be a quality quarterback in the NFL, and I think he's going to have a strong market. And that's pressure on Denver and Sean Payton to get this right.
Okay, so who's Sean Payton's guy?
That's the question everyone wants to know. I think when you look at this draft, there's two guys that stick out to me that kind of fits what Sean Payton is looking for in the offense in terms of Oregon's Bo Nix and Michigan's JJ McCarthy. During the combine, the Broncos did their due diligence with the quarterbacks. They had formal interviews with every top prospect, including Spencer Rattler, who's a guy from South Carolina who could be a possible late round option. So you're going to see they're going to be aggressive with it. But when you look at this, I think no matter where they go, I think they're going to have patience. And that's where I think the key is with Sean Payton. Because Sean Payton came in here and he wants to win. Like that's no matter what. That's his goal. He's going to win. He wants to compete for a postseason. But if you're going to try to bring in a rookie quarterback, I think that's going to require Sean Payton to have patience. Because let's say they get McCarthy, let's say they get Nix. That could be your guy, but do you want to rush them to be out there on the field week one when they're not ready? So to me, at this point, the perfect scenario is if they can find a quarterback in this draft, someone that they love. I think that's the key part there, that they got to love the guy, and roll with Stidham and have him in the rookie transition. I think that'd be the perfect scenario for Denver.
Okay, you've only been there a year. Do you feel like you know Sean Payton better after a year or Russell Wilson after a year?
I think I know Sean Payton more.
Why?
I think just you saw Sean Payton, the guy he was in New Orleans is the guy he is in Denver. And one thing you kind of get with Sean Payton, and he's a perfectionist. He wants things to be done his way and the right way, and you can tell like that type of mindset has kind of changed that culture when you talk to like players, and from what it was before and what it is now. That kind of stands out with him the most. Like you can tell he wants to change this franchise around. He wants to win. Obviously, the process might be longer than he may initially expect it, given Denver's cap situation, the handful of holes they have on the roster. But yeah, that's who Sean Payton is. And like this guy, he's a guy that really is hell bent on winning and wants to do it the right way. And there's someone like he's going to go over red zone drills like 100 times until he gets it right. So that's the type of guy you saw in Denver this past year.
Ryan, do you think that Russell Wilson knows what happened, like why it happened, his role in why this happened?
I would think so. Because at the end, like Russell Wilson, like I said, Russell Wilson put up some solid numbers, but you still saw the inconsistencies. You still saw like the lack of continuity between him and Sean Payton, and it's hard to not kind of. Even though I would say this, the whole situation could have been handled differently on how he was benched, how it got out there, with in terms of the contract. I strongly believe that could have been handled differently. But you got to, I think both sides got to look at themselves in the mirror, including Russell Wilson.
If I said which franchise is in the worst shape right now today, where do the Broncos rank?
That's a good one. At this present moment, I say they're probably up there because I look at this team where
I think it would be down there, not up there.
yeah, I look at excuse me, yeah, I look at this team because there's where everyone's looking at the quarterback situation, but when you look at this team, you got so many holes. You got Lloyd Cushenberry enter free agency, and there's a certain where he's going to come back. You still have to address the defensive line because they were that area of the team was inconsistent. There's so many things they have to figure out on the roster. You got the offensive tackle, Garrett Bowles, is entering his final season, and he's set to make $20 million in 2024. However, if you decide to release him, you could save $16 million. So he could be a possible cap casualty. And then you're right there. Now you got to address who's going to be your future at the left tackle. So it's, to me, I think when Broncos fans got to look at this, is like, yeah, no matter who you bring in as quarterback, that's not going to be the quick fix. This is going to take a process. And for me, I think the key thing is Shawn Payton going to have that patience to let this process play out in terms of getting the quarterback in there, getting the right pieces around that quarterback to make this a team that can compete in the AFC West.
Good luck, Ryan. Should be fun.
It should be.
Thank you. That's Ryan McFadden. Tough to find an encore for the first year that you're there in Denver. He's the Broncos beat writer for the Denver Post.